billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Dear gentlemen, dear women, dear children, dear young girls and boys, I am honored to be here today. You know, usually I will talk about what I'm talking to a lot of group of people who are mainly professional, who are professor, university professor, or they are government official. But today I am so honored to talk to you as a students, to talk to you. I am also as a student. I am a learner, so we share together what we are going to learn from each other. Thank you very much for being here. I want to talk to you today about a few things, about my life, about the life of a lot of children who have been affected through the war. You know, I grew up in Afghanistan, and Afghanistan was a beautiful country. I remember Afghanistan as a child, walking in the street without fear, at night going from my family from houses to houses, under the star, and not being afraid of at all. It was a country that really everyone had opportunity to go to school. We were poor, yes, we were poor, we were not advanced, but we were safe. We had a good life. But unfortunately, that Afghanistan didn't exist for a long, long time. And you know, when the Russians invaded Afghanistan, Afghanistan turned to be a completely different war. Because of the situation in Afghanistan, because of the war, so I became a refugee. I went to refugee camp in Pakistan. And then from there, I went to the United States and I completed my education. While I was completing my education, my family became a refugee. They left the home because no longer they could live in Afghanistan. So what they did, they went to Iran in the refugee camp. For 5 years, they were living in the refugee camp. But you know, when I was studying in the United States, constantly my mind was in Afghanistan. And I was thinking, what's happening to my country? What's happening to the young women and young men? How they are surviving. So constantly I wanted to go back in Afghanistan. But my parents keep writing to me from Iran that no, you cannot go because they will capture you, they will kill you. So knowing that, so I continuously did my education study. As soon as I finished, I just wanted to bring my family back in the United States. Because I thought that if I bring them there, they be safe, then what I can do, what I want to do, I could do. And that happened. I brought my family into the United States, my brothers, sisters. It wasn't an easy task. I talk about it, but as a student, you know the life of a student. I work all kinds of odd jobs to really help my parents to come to the United States. It was very tough life for me as a student also, to support myself to go through school, because I earned to have a scholarship, but not full scholarship, sometimes partial scholarship, sometimes full scholarship. So I had a tough life in the United States. So finally I managed to bring my family. Why I'm telling you this? This is something that I want to go through with this to you, that you see where is life start and where is life is ending up. Anyway, I brought my family, and then as soon as they settled in the United States, I decided I want to go back to Afghanistan. But I couldn't. There wasn't Afghanistan. There was a war zone. Everybody was fighting. Thousands and thousands of children running from Afghanistan into the refugee camp in Pakistan. So I decided I go to the Pakistan in the refugee camp to see what's going on. So I went there, and when I went there to just stay and see what's going on, and then maybe return back to the United States. I went for 3 months, but I never came back to the United States. Yes, I had a good job in the United States. I became a professor. I was very successful. I earned good money, but the people were there miserable. And I felt it. Who am I that I will be different from my brother and sister? Why they are suffering so much? And what can they do? Aren't they the same human being as me? I had opportunity. I got education. How about them? In the refugee camp, when I saw them, it was a horrible situation. I went camp to camp and tried to do a survey. There were thousands, young boy, young girl, sitting in the refugee camp, not having anything to do. Not only they didn't have home, they didn't have food, also they didn't have a school. And you know, growing up and not being able to read and write, it's horrible things, because we talk about human rights, we talk about education as a right of individual. Aren't they having a right? Why they are not having a right? But what happened? Nobody was really planning to have a school for them. As a matter of fact, I was just talking to Mary. There is a lot of area that in the camp, they don't put a school for the children. So these children, these young men, young boys sitting there without education. So I decided I'm going to do something. What could I do? As an individual, not having that much money, what could I do to help the life of these people? And when I talked to them, they were weeping, they were crying, they were traumatized. The Russian raided into their houses. They took their brother, they took their sister, they took their belongings. And while they were traveling from Afghanistan to Pakistan, they lost some member of their family. It was horrible. It was a horrible situation for them. And they were weeping and talking to me about their life. So it wasn't a good scene. I felt miserable. And I said, I have to do something. And what that things could be, it was education. You know, I knew that education changed my life. Education gave me stability. Education gave me status. Education gave me self-confidence. Education built my life. Education helped me to bring my family to a safe place. Education put food on my table, and that was education. And that's I wanted to give it to them. To have a sustainable life, to have capacity, to stand up on their own feet. And that wasn't an easy task. There was a lot of really issue that it was difficult for me to give them education. First of all, you know, in the refugee camp, the people of Afghanistan blamed the system of education, that Russia came with a new system, so they destroy our country. So they didn't want anything to do with education. The elder of the camp, they didn't want education at all, because they thought that we are brainwashing the students, so they didn't want anything to do with education. So how I'm going to do, how I'm going to survive with this? So it's need a lot of thinking, a lot of planning, how I'm going to do this. So I knew that if I collaborate with somebody, who are that person that I collaborate? That person must be somebody that everybody respect, everybody listen to, and that person was a mullah. So I went to the camp and searched for one mullah that is really respected by all the people. And I find that mullah. He was an old man. He was 80 years old. And I went to his house in his camp. And I told him, I want to make you a teacher. And he looked at me and he said, are you crazy? You think that I can be a teacher? And he looked at me. I said, I think, yes, you will be a teacher. And I will train you to be a teacher. And this guy said, no, absolutely no. You are not going to come in here to teach me. So do you know that days after day, I go to his tent and sit and drink tea with him and take with me three other women and talk to him, try to convince him that he can be a teacher. Why I wanted him to be a teacher? Because people will let their children to come to him, nobody else. Because people really trusted him. So that finally worked. I met this guy to be a teacher. I train him. I teach him how to teach. In matter of 3 months, not only I teach him how to teach, I taught his daughter-in-law, his wife, his daughter. All 4 of them become a teacher. Because they were able to read Quran. They were able to read the alphabet. So I was able to train them as a teacher. So I trained them as a teacher. And then I put tent inside their compound. But I knew at that time that if I want these students who are traumatized to stay in class and learn something, we must do something that they can learn. How they are going to learn? From a good teacher. We must bring a good teacher in the classroom. So as I was teaching them how to teach, the same time I wrote manual for the teacher, how to be a good teacher, how to use a new methodology that is participatory methodology, a student-centered technique. So at the same time, I keep writing this manual. I wrote 7 manuals in that camp, while they were teaching 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade. In matter of 1 year, from 310 become 710. And from 710, do you know what happened? The word of mouth travel, because the students were learning. The students were happy. They come from everywhere under the tent, and they were happy, and they said, and they were learning. Why they were learning? Because it wasn't rote memorization. I learned through rote memorization in Afghanistan. So I tried to change the system. And through this manual that we wrote, the children were learning in a very fast rate. And also they enjoy learning because for so many years they were just stuck in the tent or inside the compound, and they did not play and they did not know what to do. So this really promotes their thinking, so critical thinking. So as a result, in 1.5 years, we had from 300 students to 27,000 students. Can you imagine that? 27,000. There were 7 million refugees in Pakistan. 7 million refugees, and they did not have any school. And you can imagine how desperate these young men and young women were. There were times that I will tell you, and I love to tell you, to share with you, that some young men and young women come to the compound that we were teaching them. They did not go away. They stayed, they keep staying, and they keep taking classes in one cycle to the next cycle. From morning to evening they were staying. Sometimes I said, go to your home because we have to close the door. And they didn't want to go because they feel so happy, and they were standing beside the tent and just holding their book and reading it. And that was the way that those students want to learn. And that's the way that we try to really help the students to teach them, and they learn. In the meantime, the news went into Afghanistan. That time Taliban were ruling the country. And you know, during the Taliban, the education system was banned. There is no girl, no woman could get outside. How about getting education? So the people start coming from Afghanistan to Pakistan and asking me to build a school inside Afghanistan. And again, this was not an easy task. Why I am telling you this? You are young. You are the future of every nation. It is time sometimes that you will face challenges. And in order to really solve that problem, you must be very, very careful how you plan your activity, that it wouldn't be threatened to other people. I was in a situation that if I went right away and opened a school in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, I will be killed right in the spot. You know that Taliban did not tolerate anything. They were just killing people right and left. They were killing children, they were killing women, they were killing anyone who they come around. They did not have mercy to anyone. So these people are coming and asking me to open a school. And what should I do? I should not say no, but at the same time I have to find out which way I could do it. So trying to communicate with the people. Because the people of Pakistan, they trusted me, they trusted my system, they sent their children. So we needed to do the same kind of communication with the people inside Afghanistan. If they are going to really help me, if they are going to protect me, if they are going to give me a teacher from their community, from between themselves, if they are going to support me one way or another way, then I will open a school. Otherwise, I will not open. So we again went into Afghanistan, communicated with these people, and you know, they promised that they will do all these things. And that wasn't easy for them either, because if they were caught, any of them were caught, they will be killed also. So, but they took the risk. They took the risk because they know that their children will be educated. So they supported me, and we went into Afghanistan and we opened a school. So from one school to 2 and 2, 3, then it's ED school, 3,000 students. And you know, I want to share with you, that was a wonderful things to happen during that time. Because today, those are the people, those are the young men and young women who during the Taliban went to school, and the secret home school, underground. They could not get outside, they have to come in different cycle, they have to come in different interval, like 2, 3 at a time, not all of them at one time. So under that circumstance, they have to hold their books inside the cloth, wrapped under their arm. If somebody caught them, right, this would be the end of their life. We taught them how to hide their book. We taught them not to talk about it. We taught them that when you stop in the street, say, I was in the mosque, I was reading Quran. And that was the way that we communicate with those children, and that was the way that we really try to work how to get around and to really try to educate these children. And it did work. AD school, 3,000 students during the Taliban. And most of those students today, they are lawyer, they are doctor, they are engineer, they are teacher, and they are the one who really, right now, helping with the infrastructure of Afghanistan. And they are the one who really are taking position with my program right now. So, as a result, I am very pleased, because I think that when you really want to do something, you are able to do it. It's not an easy task, but you can manage to do it. What is stand today, EIL? EIL today is one of the largest women organizations in Afghanistan. We reached 12.5 million people so far in different areas. What we do, the focus of our program is teacher training. Because we believe that when you have a good teacher in the classroom, the students learn. We believe that critical thinking is very important. We talk about education. What kind of education? Just reading and writing? Is that enough? No. We must create an environment, create a curriculum that it fits everybody according to their needs. We can't just provide curriculum and say, okay, first grade, second grade, third grade. There were students who are like 15 years old, never read, never know how to read. So how are you going to put that students with the 7 years old students in the classroom? There were students who were 20 years old. They never went to school, and now they come to school, and they really wanted to learn. So how are you going to put a 20 years old students with the 7 years old students? So this was a challenge. So we must design a curriculum we call fast-track classes. That in these fast-track classes, we put the students in the classroom, and as they learn, as fast as they learn, we give them examination and promote them to the level, the next level, and the next level. There are students that in matter of 2 years or 3 years, they promote 4 or 5 grades up because they were smart, they were intelligent, they applied themselves, and they learned. So there were students who were in the 7 years old, sit in the same classroom, but had different material. So it wasn't easy. We have to teach multi-grade system in the same classroom. We didn't have facility, we didn't have building, we didn't have things. For a while, even we were inside Afghanistan, we were teaching under the tent. We were teaching in the ground, in the basement of the house. But these students were so starving for education that didn't make difference for them. A one blackboard and a teacher, that was good enough for them. But did we stay with that? No. Today we have classroom. Today we have students going in the classroom with some facility. We equip the teacher with knowledge that that teacher could really encourage and promote these students, that these students teach each other. And that was the way we learned, because we didn't also have enough teachers. So we must create an environment that the teacher is working with some students, some other students were helping the other students. And that's the way we really survive. Today we have teacher, today we have facility, today we have good students, we have a laboratory, we have a library, we have things. Is it okay in Afghanistan today? No. Do we have whatever we want? No, we don't. Today, even in the classroom, I said, I am not teaching, I am an administrator. But the teacher is teaching the class. All of a sudden, the students all jump and run away. Why? Because suicidal bomb. The students sit and ask the teacher, may I borrow your telephone? Because I want to call if my mommy is alive at home. It's not easy. Those students are traumatized constantly. We have a conflict right now in Afghanistan. A conflict that we have a war inside from one group to the next group. But you know, those young men and young women, they come and faithfully they sit in the classroom and they are learning. So it is very important to we as a teacher, as an administrator, create an environment, create a curriculum that they constantly learn. But is it enough to learn and to finish just high school and go to university? You all know what is the rate of employment. You know how many young men and young women in all parts of the world without job. Why they are without job? Why they are finishing university, but they are not able to do the work? Because they didn't learn in the classroom the things that they should apply to their life. So that's one of the reasons that right now we are thinking what kind of university or what kind of institute we are going to create in Afghanistan that the students who want to go to university will be able to take 2 years as an associate degree. And that 2 years life skill they should learn. They should learn the things that they can work with their hand or they can apply as electrician, as nurses, as medical technologists, as something that they can really get the job and be able to support themselves. Because right now in Afghanistan, the economy is very bad. Not only the economy is bad, the country is so poor that they could not even provide a salary for somebody. How about high salary to give to somebody? And the people who come abroad, they want a very higher salary. So we could not, our country could not afford. So we must train our own people with the very life skill that they can go and do the work. And that is what we are trying to do. And that's the reason we really appreciate people from all around the world to help us, to give us the training that we can train our people. And that's what we are all about. So I think that one thing that I really face is that the curriculum is not easy things to really develop. But the material that we develop, we must make our own material. And making our own material needs like higher education. People who are in a higher education to set and design a curriculum for these students who are in the university so that they will be able to really take it. So that we have a problem again right now. And we are trying to work. Right now I am in a process of really trying to build a university. We do work with health education. I just want to go a little bit to tell you about the health education. What is health education in Afghanistan? You know Afghanistan is a very poor country. We don't have that much doctors, we don't have that much nurses. And also, maternal mortality rate, one is the second highest in the world in Afghanistan. So in order for us to really help our people, help our society, we must try to really give them knowledge that they will be able to protect themselves from diseases. Because they don't have knowledge of, like say, for you maybe it would be very simple, hygiene. But in Afghanistan, no, people don't know hygiene. People do not know nutrition. People do not know how to take care of their children. They do not know how to take the children to the hospital to get immunization, to be able to really help them to stay alive. So because of that, we teach them side by side with education, health education. So again, we have to design curriculum on health education, how to really help these people to take care of themselves. So we can say that we are taking a holistic approach. We are not taking just an educational program. We work with people, how to take care of themselves, how to get education, how to take care of their environment, how to do many, many things, because our country completely was destroyed. We are starting from scratch. And right now we are reaching somewhere, but still we have a long, long way to go. And that is, I really wanted to tell you a little bit, and I want you to ask me questions. I think that as a teacher also, I'm not happy to just keep talking about things. I want that it will be participatory, and you ask me questions, and according to your question, I will give you answer. I like that. So I stop right here, and then you are free to ask me any question you want. All right? Thank you. So, who is it? Yes.
I'm really interested in your whole talk. It's made me feel so, moved.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm interested, partly because I teach myself, in your what you were saying about your critical, when you're speaking about critical thinking for these students, because how I imagine, I might be quite wrong, is that some people would come along with so much fear and such a sense of being repressed. So when you start speaking about, we're looking at the Quran from a critical curriculum point of view, how difficult, challenging it might be to get these young people to start thinking in a more overall critical way, and that fits in with where the country's at politically and violence-wise, etc. If you've got maybe some anecdotes you might tell us, or how was that for you?
Thank you. It's a very good question. I told you that I was in a school in Afghanistan. I was the best student in a school in Afghanistan. I finished 12th grade, and then I went to the United States. But when I was going to school, it was rote memorization. Nobody really helped us to learn critical thinking. And how do you learn critical thinking? By being free, by being able to ask questions, by being able to have a good relationship with your teacher, by being able to not be afraid. These are the issues that you deal with it, you really promote critical thinking. And that wasn't exist in Afghanistan. We could not even raise our hand at all. And if we had questions, we just have to quiet. Just walk out and don't ask the teacher nothing, because teacher knows everything and you should not really interrupt the teacher. That was the system that I went to school. And I knew that I finished 12th grade. I was the first student in my class, but really when I went to United States, you will be amazed. The level of education I had, it was like maybe 4th grade. And you can imagine how tough a time I had at the university, sitting with the students at that level and being like that. You know how I felt. So I knew that if I want to really teach critical thinking, the first thing I must do, train the teacher. How we train the teacher? We taught the teacher to be closely, very friendly with the students, because as you said, the students were traumatized. So if the teacher was not friendly, if the teacher was not open to the students, if the teacher was not really smiling, if the teacher was beating the students will not learn. So first thing we taught the teacher use the psychology, how to build a relationship with the students. This was one issue, that it's really become handy for us. This was one. Second thing that we taught, we start communicating with the parents, that the issue that the child had in the house, the teacher will know about it. If he lost his father, or if he lost his brother, or if he was raped, or if somebody else in his house was raped, or somebody was killed in front of him, whatever issue was in the house, we really tried to get the teacher to communicate with the parents. And that also made the situation easier, that the teacher will have understanding of the child that she is working with. This was another issue. And the third issue that we work, We made sure that the teacher come with material in the classroom. Although we didn't have that much resource, we didn't have book, but we planned a lesson plan that from raw material, the teacher could provide material that ask question, show flip chart, show like a stake, show the stone to try to count, pen and pencil, try to provide material that the students could see, could feel, and could listen. These are the things that it's really help our students to understand and to ask questions. We emphasized asking questions. We told the teacher that really work with the students to let them to be free, let them to answer questions and ask them a lot of questions and do a lot of group work, do a lot of teamwork. These were the issues that we work with the teacher and that helped to do promote critical thinking. And I think it did. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, please.
Do you think that the USAID programs and sort of the Western involvement in teaching within Afghanistan helps, or do you think that like the association of being a Western company sort of hurts the education in Afghanistan?
Thank you very much. You did your homework, huh? Thank you very much. You see, my country needs a lot of assistance from the USAID, from all nations, right? But unfortunately, one thing that I am really looked down on it is that I wish that they plan better. I wish that they plan for long term, not for short term. First, the mistake was that they didn't plan for long term, they planned for a short term. They came in a matter of 6 months, they want to spend all this money and do whatever they could do it and run. And that didn't work. That's one thing. Second things, that's one thing that I am really after. Who knows the community better than the community? They should ask the people. Like when I went in the Pakistan, I didn't say, yes, here I come from the United States, I am very well educated and I can do this and I can do that. I didn't say that. I went to the mullah. One of the reasons that EOL is so successful today, maybe you will laugh that I say EOL is successful, but EOL is a very successful organization. And one of the reasons is that we listen. We listen to the people, we listen to the community, and also we do not deliver if we could not. We say what we give and that we deliver. We don't promise that, oh, in a matter of 6 months we built for you a wonderful classroom. And then, in a matter of 6 months we didn't do anything and we walk out. See, that is really start creating problem. So if they promise, they should deliver. They should listen to the people. They should really ask the people what is their need. For example, we have right now, we have 342 women learning center. Why? Did we go and every year we open a women learning center? We didn't. I talked to you a little bit about everything. It's too much things to I give into everything. But then you ask questions and I will answer you. Well, we opened women learning center, but we didn't go and say we want to open a women learning center. The people, the community come and said we want our wife, our daughter to come and learn how to read and write through literacy program. So according to their needs, we opened the center. Then we said, what do you want? Somebody said we want just to read Quran. Somebody said we want to read how to read and write. Somebody said we want to learn how to do income generation. Somebody said we want to be a nurse. Whoever told us whatever they want, according to their request, we provided for them. We provided a center. Under that hub, we had all kinds. Somebody said, do you know how many women come with their children in our program, sit side by side and learn with their children? Because we create that environment for them, and that was their request. They didn't have anybody to take care of their kids at home, so they brought the kids. We were open. They can bring the kids with them, and we had a preschool in the camp, in the classroom, in the center. And so they brought their children, and while they were learning, their children were taken care. As a matter of fact, some women brought their daughter to school to study, and they come and they went to the embroidery class and sit and did their embroidery while their child is studying. That's the way you work. So USAID, I don't say bad thing about them. I don't want to say anything about them because I'm not a politician. I don't want to involve in those things. But the things, if they did plan well, do you know billions and billions of dollars went into Afghanistan? that even if that money was given to people, people will not be poor today. But today, people are poor, we don't have road, we don't have electricity, we don't have light, we don't have water, we don't have a school, we don't have anything. Whatever we have and accomplished so far, it's because the national NGO did the work. Not the international, the national NGO. The local NGO did the work. Do we need the international community? Yes, we do. Can we help our country with the empty hand? No, we can't. We need assistance. Please do not take me wrong. But the point is that when you give the assistance, it is take the advice from the community what they need and spend it that way. And that is, they didn't do it. Unfortunately, they didn't do it. Yeah. I hope I answered. Yes?
Hello. First, I would like to thank you very much. I think you're a really strong and admirable person.
Thank you.
My question is that we notice that lack of education is something terrible around the world, but for me, in my opinion, there's something even worse. It's miseducation, and it's something that is even harder to change. How do we tackle this problem? How do we change somebody that is miseducated?
Well, I think that for right now, even today, we have a people who will not allow their children to go to school. Right now in Afghanistan. For example, we have early child marriage. A girl who is 6 years old be sold to somebody 40 years old, and that girl will be stopped from school, will not go to school at all. There are many other issues in Afghanistan that still is going on. And how we do it? By giving human rights classes. We do a lot of workshop, a lot of training. We give human rights classes, we give women's rights classes. In those classes, people come. And when they come and they listen and they learn that it's the right of every child to get education. And why the child, when it gets education, what happened to him or her? His life is changed. He will be able to have his own sustainability in life. He will be able to earn money. As a woman, he will be able to be a better mother, take care of his children, better wife, take care of his family. It would be a partner with the husband, because when husband working, the mother is sitting with 5, 6 kids in the house, so they don't have a good income. And if the mother works and the father works together, they can survive better. So these are all the skills that through the human rights and women's rights we teach in the classroom. And so as a result, yes, still there are people who will not do it. But many men change their mentality. And they let their children to go to school, they let their wife to go and learn a skill and be able to work outside. And that is, it's a long term. It's not an easy task. You have to be patient, you have to really work hard on it, and to try to really change the mentality that years and years sit in the mind of the people. So it's working, but it's slow. Yes, please.
I just wanted to know about any specific challenges you faced in establishing all these institutes all across Afghanistan. Because I'm sure because you were doing something that was non-traditional, you would definitely face issues with the government. And I wanted to know if you could share any specific stories.
Thank you. First of all, I want to tell you that when I was in Pakistan, there was a challenge with the government because the Pakistan opened their door for the refugee, and there was a refugee camp. As a matter of fact, when I was in the refugee camp, and when I established those classes, those schools, we were running much better education than right now we run into Afghanistan. Because over there wasn't any, red tape to stop us here, there. So we design and we implement. We design and we implement. But right now, yes, we do have challenge. We have challenge because the private sector have a hard time to really operate. And as a private sector, they are asking a lot of questions and taking a lot of taxes and taking a lot of money that we are not willing to give because that money is for the program, but the government wants their share. See what I'm saying? So these are issues that we have to work. But fortunately, I don't know how to say, I have been able to handle better than a lot of people. One of the reasons because I'm a fighter. I'm a very aggressive person and stand up. I do not take no for answer. So as a result, my whole entire staff, we have 480 personnel. 88% of them are women. And all of my staff become excellent workers. So they are really also a good fighter. And so as a result, we don't have that much trouble with the government. Other people have, but we don't have. But we have another problem. We have security issue problem. You know that they kidnap, they kill, they throw acids to the people's face, they come to their school, poison the water, poison the environment of the school. These are all security issues that we are responsible and we have to take care of it. So it's a nightmare. It's not an easy life, you know? So we have to have soldier, we have to have gun, we have to have this and that. And also beside that, always we have to be alert that any moment somebody will come and kidnap some kids from us or do something. So we have driver, we have chowkidar, which means doorkeeper, all kinds of issues. And there are some provinces that personally I really would like to go right now, but I cannot go because as a woman we could not go. So we are only in 13 provinces of Afghanistan. Afghanistan has 33 provinces. The rest of it all is unsafe. We say that we have under our control all the provinces, but we don't. Some of the province is completely under the Taliban. So that is a biggest issue. And the second issue is economy. Try to really raise funds. I start with $20,000 of my own. I start the program. But today my program is around to $3.5 million. Every year from the beginning of the year to the end, to find this money is not an easy thing. Especially now Afghanistan is falling out of the radar because of the war is all over. And so nobody think about Afghanistan. So to raise that money is not an easy task. That's another issue. So we try to survive, but it's hard. I hope I answered. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much for sharing your stories. It's truly moving. I have a good friend of mine who was a refugee from Bamiyan, and he lives in the state now. Yes, all of his family members were killed by Taliban except for his daughter and his mother, who still live in Bamiyan. Even though he wants to go back to Afghanistan to give help to implement the things that he learned in the States, he cannot because of political reasons, because of him being on the wrong side of the politics within the provinces that are controlled by Taliban. So for refugees and people like my friend Assad, how do they cope with that and go back to their hometown to make changes? Is it a military intervention that's needed, or other people that are in sort of same shoes as my friend, how do they cope with that sort of difficulty of going back home and making changes?
I am very sorry. Unfortunately, I do not have a very quick answer for that because life is tough in Afghanistan, very tough. Even I stand up here and talk about it. There are times I joke, I laugh, but it's not easy. I do not know in the morning I get up if I'm going to be alive or not. When I go to the field, I don't know if my car will be blown up or not. But that is depend on the individual. My family right now live in the United States. My brother and sister never want to go back to Afghanistan. But the reason is because they could not live in Afghanistan. Why? Because they could not survive. They do not want to survive. It is tough for them. Life is so tough that they could not manage it. For me, if I don't have a hot water, if I don't have electricity, if my security is so bad that if I walk on the street, somebody can track me, I survive. I want to because I love Afghanistan. I love my country. And also I love the young people, the young generation. The old generation like me is gone anyway. But we need to really keep on going to do it. USID could do it for us? No, we have to do it. And we have to do it, we have to take the risk. And for your friend, I think that he has the same situation that I have. But if he really wants to go, he could go. But yes, he will be killed, maybe. But you know what? When I had the program inside Afghanistan underground, every week I had meeting around the table. All the staff comes in. And I said, what do you want? You want to wear hijab? Or you don't want to wear hijab and be killed? Hijab is not because something that is going to stop the people leading us to the door if we come without hijab. They will kill us. Do we want to be killed or we want to learn? I talk to my staff every meeting. Half an hour was just talking about security, how to take care of yourself, how to cover yourself, how to be careful. And then come and take it out and sit and talk with me. And that's they did. It's not easy for some people to wear that hijab. It's hot, it's whatever. So, but they took it, they did it. Because today they can go like me, wear their scarf and can go out and sleep. There were times that they could not do that. But still Afghanistan is unsafe. Still is unsafe. The government tried to keep it safe. The life of the women has been changed tremendously. Today, the women of Afghanistan, the children of Afghanistan are not the same as 10 years ago. They are so brilliant. They are asking so much questions because of so many workshops, thousands and thousands of workshops on peace education, on human rights, women's rights, democracy, good citizenship, rule of law. These are all workshops that we have been given. And through all these workshops, people's minds open. They start thinking, they start asking questions, they will start asking what I want, what kind of government I want, what kind of representative I want. They learn, and learning through that process, also they will be able to protect themselves. So your friend, if he thinks that Afghanistan or people are the same as before, they are not. People are changing, but security is changed? Not really that much. No. So I hope someday he goes. I have been in Bamiyan for the beginning in 2002, 2006. Every year I went to Bamiyan and I give workshop. But since 2006 until now I could not, because the whole valley is completely taken over by the Taliban. So if we go, we will be killed. So we want to do the work there, but we cannot do that. He is right. His country his province is very unsafe right now. Sorry. Okay, you please.
Hi, I was wondering how you manage on school staff the social implications of educating women, if they have trouble integrating in their communities as they're gaining education, and especially if they start feeling empowered, if they can make change besides working in the schools, or if they have trouble with their families.
It's a good question, but as I said, many things have been changed in Afghanistan. These women that they come and get education, their family also get education. Their family also mentality is changed. One thing that their family changed because the woman bring money at home. The husband doesn't have money. The husband could not work even, doesn't have a job. But the wife has a job. The daughter, sometimes today, in some family, the son and the daughter is supporting the whole entire family. Because they come to school, they learn, they are having a job, they are earning money. So as a result, the father and the mother sees that. So they are really is up, Maybe still there are people, in the villages people are very strict. But in the city things are changing, people are changing. Although a lot of village people move to the city too. We have a lot of displacement, but still people are learning and they are changing because they see the beauty of education. They see that education is the backbone of anything in any nation. You can't do anything without education. And so people see that and people appreciate that. Today, I think one thing that I really asked, I travel and I talk to many universities, to many symposium, and I'm an international speaker. that today the women of Afghanistan are so smart. The young men are so smart. They are learning like that. Do you know that today we have more smartphones in Afghanistan than any other nation? Do you know that? Why? Because they are using what? Text message. Through mobile phone, we are teaching literacy program. And it's more effective than just sitting them in the classroom. We go village to village. We give the simple phone to them. And we teach them how to use text, non-stop. There is no library, but they keep asking questions from each other. Asking what is the next village is doing, what is that wife is doing, all kinds of things. I have a story that a girl came and said, my father was having me and giving me money because today my father can sell all his product, wheat and rice and everything, and I do the accounting by this little phone for him. See, things are changing. Technology also helping. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
How can students in St Andrews help to support your organisation?
Students?
Students, yeah, how can we support your organisation? Is there ways that student bodies rather than governments or large companies can help your organisation?
Well, through many ways. First of all, you know that we have a website. It's called www.org, www.afghaninstituteoflearning.org. If you go through that, then what you do, you will find a site that it's through a credit card. You can help. Because I also have another organization, it's called Creating Hope International. It's set up as 5C13 in the United States. And all the funding goes through that, and then from there comes to Afghanistan. So if you want to, anybody who wants to help, they can go through that, and by credit card they can do. Or if you want to do it by check, you have to write it to Creating Hope International and send it to America, because they are 5C13, we are not. So they take it to the bank and then they send it to India. So if you want to help, I hope that people, if they want to help, they do by cash, because if you in kind, the only thing in kind we can get is medicine or equipment. If somebody has medical equipment, because you know, I didn't talk about it, we have 4 clinics, I have a hospital, and they need medical equipment. But taking medical equipment from here, it would be wonderful, but it costs us a lot of double, triple price of that equipment. We have to pay tax to the government. So that's another issue. So you can choose what you want to do. And also, if you want to provide service, you want to come to Afghanistan. I know a lot of people ask me, can I come? I said, yes, you can, and I invite them, but nobody comes because security. And that is, I understand. So if you want to provide the service, like teaching English, teaching science, you are more than welcome. But I don't know if you want to take the risk or not. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
The struggle the challenges you faced when you were talking about the changes that Afghanistan is going through, I felt like you were very optimistic about the future, so I was wondering, how do you see Afghanistan's and AIL's future to be like?
Well, that is a wonderful question. First of all, yes, I am very optimistic. I am very hopeful for Afghanistan, and I look at Afghanistan as a wonderful future. We'll have a wonderful future, because the young women like you and young men like him, they are really working hard to bring peace to Afghanistan through negotiation. They constantly, when I say I have a peace workshop, thousands of them by the door. Sometimes we could not fit them in the auditorium. They come and we provide just refreshment for them and 1 or 2 facilitators, and they discuss like back and forth for hours and hours how to find a solution to really bring peace to Afghanistan. And that gives me hopes, and I think that we have a wonderful future, hopefully. It takes time, but we have to be patient. Yes. Thank you.
You have to stop because of time, unfortunately.
Oh, okay, that's fine. But anyway, I really appreciate, I want to say a few things for you. You know, my schedule has been very, very tight. And one of the favors that I really want to do is for students to come in the classroom like this and do the work with you guys. Because I really think that as a citizen of this world. We all are responsible for good citizenship. And the only way that we can be a good citizen to the world globally, to really be realistic and be humble and have compassion. Today, technology is advancing. As I said, it's helping a lot of people. But the technology never can replace a teacher, a classroom teacher or individual. So relationship is very, very important. And also taking responsibility is very important, no matter in which nation you live. Unfortunately, today the world becomes so horrible. Everywhere is a war. Economy is bad in everywhere. But our young people just become materialistic. Do not become materialistic. Please have a relationship with each other and try to really teach others love. Love from the heart. And that will get you somewhere. Otherwise, it will be tough life.